Dear Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, first of all, it's a great pleasure to meet you all today, and I would like to thank you for participating in the workshop. Let me also especially welcome visiting guests to Georgia. I hope you will have a pleasant stay in our country, and I would also like to thank the European Commission for providing us with this opportunity to exchange our views with the support of tax instrument. I'm sure that this workshop will be an excellent opportunity to share our collective experience in different areas of police competence, which will further visa liberalization process for Georgia as well as for other Eastern Europe Partnership countries. This event can also serve as an opportunity to establish direct contacts which will enhance international police cooperation. I would like to underline the importance of European integration for Georgian government and subsequently implementation obligations under existing cooperation frameworks and establish new areas of cooperation. We are confident that the reforms implemented according to the European integration agenda are key for the genuine transformation of our country and approximation to European standards. For the year 2013, our main focus is on the implementation of obligations under Visa Liberalization Action Plan. Currently, we are in the finishing stage of implementing the first legislative phase of the LAP, and this workshop will serve as a forum to inform you about our progress so far. Let me briefly introduce recent developments that the Georgian law enforcement system has undergone. As you should be aware, the parliamentary elections held on the 1st of October 2012 marked a turning point in the history of our country. The peaceful and democratic transfer of power was made possible, first of all, owing to the declared will of the Georgian people and the international community as a whole. Over the last years, our ministry underwent the significant reforms. Respectively, police gained certain trust from the society. Despite this, the issue of politicization of police and security service remained to be the major problem in our country. The main objective of the new leadership is to depoliticize the police force, ensure accountability for any wrongdoing and transparency of police work. It represents the main foundation of the democratic system and envisages establishing independent, impartial law enforcement structures. In order to respond to international and national recommendations, the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Georgia has undergone important changes, whether by the means of structural reorganization or introduced new legislative frameworks. Within the frames of structural reorganization, 4 new structural units were established or formed. Reforms and Development Agency, State Security Agency, Anti-Corruption Agency, and Central Criminal Police Department. Having acknowledged the importance and necessity to institutionalize strategic planning and accountability, our ministry has elaborated a number of relevant normative documents. For the first time in the history of our ministry, the MIA strategy for 2013 has been adopted and is submitted for public discussions, recommendations. The strategy is the clear acknowledgement of weaknesses within the system and identifies concrete steps to address those shortcomings. Strategy properly addresses the issue of human rights protection, anti-discrimination, and gender equality in line with international standards and recommendations as the priorities for the year 2013. The main legal instrument regulating police activity in our country is the Law on Police, which was adopted in 1993, a remnant of the law on militia of the Soviet time. Considering the existing reality, the new law on police has been drafted and sent for review and comments to NGOs and international organizations. The draft law aims to create legal ground for sophisticated, politically unbiased police in compliance with European standards, protecting public security and legal order. The new Police Code of Ethics has been adopted. It was drafted with the recommendations and best European standards and submitted to the Council of Europe for review and recommendations. Instructions for the employees of border police, patrol police, temporary detention isolators, and border control officers were approved, which regulate their code of conduct. Fighting organized crime and enhancing international cooperation in this area are one of the main priorities for our ministry. We are actively working in this regard, whether it is by concluding bilateral cooperation agreements with the EU member states or taking measures on the national level. At international level, we actively conclude bilateral cooperation agreements with neighboring and partner countries. So far, we have 20 bilateral cooperation agreements, and out of them, 11 are with EU countries. At national level, the Ministry has drafted the new law on international law enforcement cooperation, which will further enhance international police cooperation, and drafted a national strategy and action plan on fighting organized crime, which will be adopted by the government in the nearest future. So this is very briefly about the ongoing reforms in our ministry. I will not go into more details regarding the steps undertaken, because you will have a chance to exchange information in coming 2 days. And I wish you to have interesting presentation and productive discussions. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Georgia in the past few years has made particular progress in melting the borders between itself and the European Union. It was because of this that the dialogue on visa liberalization started the previous year. Because of this, the action plan was presented this year. And we have the assurances of the government of Georgia now that a very ambitious task will be fulfilled. In other words, that the first phase of this action plan will be finalized in an amazingly short term. Something which we very much welcome. We hope it will be achieved, and we look forward to the next phase of this, which will be the practical implementation of the legislative changes. After all, it is about melting the borders. The topics of your conference are diverse, but they all amount to whether Georgia is capable, and we very much hope it will prove it is, of crossing the borders of the European Union without any trouble for both sides. And we have witnessed the determination of the Georgian side in this direction. We have been happy to find out that in the field of readmission, which is one of the basis for this, Georgia has made particular achievements, and we very much hope that the legislative part of it will be as high quality as expected. Of course, your discussions will have to give insights on the next phase 2, which is in fact the core of the matter, because every law makes sense only when it is implemented. I very much hope that your insights will be significant, and I look forward to the possibility to brag very soon that new steps in the progress of this matter have been done, and probably in some beautiful northern capital soon this year to acknowledge these achievements. Thank you.
I would like to give you a very important to see concrete tools which we are using.
The Ministry's activities and based around providing specific and concrete recommendations. And the process is the foundation of a democratic system. The main idea behind it was to institutionalize the policy and planning process as